Okay guys, welcome to our discussion of partial quotients when dividing. So I wanted to start us off today with just recalling the different names for the parts of a division problem. So first of all, we have the dividend, which is going to be our large number. That's our whole. Okay, whatever we're deciding to divide into pieces. Okay, so if I have cheese balls, I have 847 cheese balls, right? That's my dividend. Then I have my divisor. That's how many groups you're dividing into. So maybe I have 847 cheese balls that I'm going to divide into 5 groups. So that's my divisor. Okay. And then finally, the answer, okay, the number that each person receives is called the quotient. Okay, so dividend, divisor, quotient. Really quickly, I just want us to practice writing one of these, from an old problem. So say we have 413 and we want to take that divided by 12, for instance. Just go ahead and practice what that would look like, guys, whenever we are going ahead to do that. Okay, so that should look like 413 divided by 12, okay? Because we have our dividend, our divisor, and our answer will be our quotient. So, a little review. Now, the first thing I want to show you is actually a partial quotients problem that has already been solved. Here you can see it's right here. A couple of things you're going to notice is the neatness, okay? Notice how all of the places are lined up evenly, okay, and neatly. The first thing that you want to do when you go ahead and solve these, so we're going to kind of go backwards here, is create, as we call it in class, Freddy the Pizza Box. And that's just kind of looking at our factors and determining how can we best go about this. If you put your work in up front, it's going to be much easier to solve. So, 9, I always start with my thousands. So 9 times 1,000 is 9,000. 9 times 100 is 900. 9 times 10, obviously, we know is 90. So we have 3 different numbers we could work from there. Okay, notice that they went in 100 times. Okay, so that was 100 times 9. They subtract 100, they got 1,431. They did another 100. Now notice maybe you could have done 200 here, okay, instead of just 100. 9,000 times 200 would be 1,800, right? And then they took away 50. Then they took 9. There was no remainder. And they got an answer of 259. Now, how can we go about checking our work? We can use the inverse, which would involve 259 times 9. And that would get you your quotient, or I'm sorry, your dividend that you began with, okay? So if you multiply your quotient divided by your divisor, you should get your dividend. Now, we're going to try one actually on our own. So let's go ahead and this one out. So let's read this problem together right now. Just stick with me as we go. Are you guys ready? Okay, so there are 24 students in room 21. Mr. Reichard has 504 candy corns. If each student receives the same number of candy corn, how many will each student receive? Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is go ahead and notice and wonder. So what are some things that we notice about this problem, room 21 rock stars? And I'm just going to go ahead and star them as we go. Yeah, we have 24 students, right? We're in room 21. Okay. What's something else that maybe you notice? Okay, we have 504 candy corns. That's a good notice. Okay. And anything else that you notice about this problem? They're each receiving the same number. Okay, so there I have all of the things that I have to notice. Okay, 24 students, room 21, 504 candy corns, and each student is receiving the same number. So I do have to divide here, as you probably can figure, since we are practicing that. But, a couple of key words that help you to look at that is you start with a large number, 504. Each person needs the same number. And how many does each receive? Okay, so how would I set up this problem? Well, it would begin by looking like 504 divided by 24. Okay, and then my next step is I'm going to come over here to the side, okay, and create Freddy the Pizza Box, okay, as we call it in class. That's just where we're putting our multiples, remember. So 24 times 1,000, which we kind of should be able to tell with our number sense, is way too big. That's 2,400. Maybe we can try 24 times 100, okay. I'm sorry, that would be 24,000. That's really large. This would be 2,400, okay? How about 24 times 10? That would be 240. Now, that's not as high as I think I'd like to go, but how about we go ahead and go with that today, guys? So we say 24 times 10. Now let me point to a very common error that folks make, okay? Sometimes right here, people will write down 24. Okay, so what you're saying in essence is you're saying 24 times 24. You need to be very careful that whatever you're choosing here, you're multiplying by your divisor. So we're multiplying 10 times 24, and we're going to get our product of 240. Then we're going to go ahead and subtract, and we get 264. So I'm just going to put in another 10, and I get 240. And now I end up with 24, so if I put in another 1, obviously 24 times 24, or 24 times 1 is 24. 24 minus 24 is 0. And then I add up these numbers on the side. 10, 10, and 1 is going to be what, Room 21 Rockstars? 21. How can you check your work? Well, you would take 21 and multiply it times 24, and you should get the dividend of 504. So there's a quick little rundown of partial quotients. Now what I would do is I have provided you a problem to practice, and I would like you to turn it into the math bin whenever you're complete. But the key here is, guys, the auditorium at North Stafford High School can seat 2,912 people. Here I have provided a picture of it. Okay, each row, okay, here are the rows, in the auditorium has 38 seats. You need to figure out how many rows are in the concert hall altogether. Okay, because that's a piece of information I'm not telling you. So notice, wonder, set up your problem, turn it into the math bin, make sure you check your work with the inverse of division, which is multiplication, and then we will go from there. You can also check out the 10 marks site for the division module, and also the other videos that I provided under the Flipped Classroom for division. And this concludes the partial quotients